Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about doing signed fraction addition and subtraction. So before we jump into the actual fractions of it, let's go ahead and do a quick review of addition and subtraction using both negatives and positive numbers. I drew out a number line here, and just a quick reminder that anytime we are adding on a number line, we are always shifting to the right, always. Whenever we are subtracting something, we are always shifting to the left on a number line. So let's talk about the quick example of 3 minus 5. Let's go ahead and start at 3 on our number line, and because we are subtracting 5, we're going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our result of 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Do another example of negative 1 minus 2. This time, we're starting to the left of 0. We're starting over here at negative 1. But again, we're subtracting 2, so we're still going to be going to the left. 1, 2. So our result of negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And one final example here, negative 3 plus 5. So again, we're starting to the left of that 0, but we're adding 5 this time. So we're going to be going to the right on our number line, starting at negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that our result is a positive 2. Go ahead, write this down, and then we'll jump into an example. So let's go ahead and do an example of negative 1/6 minus 3/5. Now, the only difference here is that one of these guys is a negative, and that's pretty much it. The only thing that's different is that there's a negative sitting in front of our 1/6. We still have to find a common denominator between our two fractions, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to rewrite our first fraction, negative 1/6, and remember, I'm going to multiply this fraction by the opposite fraction's denominator times 5/5 minus, we're going to do the exact same thing to our second fraction. Now I'm going to multiply it by that first fraction's denominator. So I know now that I'm going to need to multiply. Now, remembering our signed operations, this 5/5 is a positive. So when I'm multiplying it by our negative 1/6, it's still going to be a negative. We're still going to keep that negative sign in front of our resulting equivalent fraction. So multiplying our numerator, 5 times 1 is 5 over 6 times 5, which is 30. We're going to do the same thing to our second denominator, or second fraction. 3 times 6 is 18 over that common denominator of 30. Now, here comes the tricky part. I am subtracting negative 5 minus 18. So thinking back to our number line, this number 5, or negative 5, we are sitting already to the left of 0. And because we're subtracting from that negative 5, we're going even further to the left, even further away from 0. So our number is going to be much greater into the negatives. So negative 5 minus 18 is negative 23. And then, just like before, we keep the same denominator of 30. Now, I know that I am done here with this fraction because there's nothing that both negative 23 and 30 is divisible by. So I know that negative 1/6 minus 3/5 is equal to negative 23 over 30. Okay guys, our next example we're going to talk about is 2/7 minus 4/9. Just like before, I know that these do not have that same denominator, so I'm going to have to multiply by 1 whole to find that common denominator. And in this case, I know that 7 can't be multiplied into 9, and 9 cannot, of course, be multiplied into 7, so I'm going to have to multiply both fractions. So let's go ahead and do that. 2 over 7 times, now remember, I'm going to multiply by the opposite fraction's denominator, 9 over 9, minus 4 over 9 times 7 over 7. So now I'm going to multiply those fractions together, and I end up with 18 over 63 minus our second guy here. 4 times 7 is 28, and we keep our denominator of 63. Now, looking at our numerators, we're going to keep this the same, but this time, or the rules are the same. You're still going to subtract the numerators and keep the denominators. But this time, what I want you all to see is that we're taking away 28 from 18. That means that we're going to be going past 0 and into the negatives. 18 minus 28 is minus 10. And then same deal as always, we keep our denominator of 63. I know that I cannot reduce this fraction at all because there is not a multiple between negative 10 and 63 besides 1 that I can divide by. So that means that I am complete, and that 2 over 7 minus 4 over 9 is equal to negative 10 over 63.